All right, so welcome back to the channel. Listen, we having some computer problems, so we're doing this live. Y'all get the benefit of catching us live right now.
Yes.
So what's up? Welcome back to the channel. My name's Kevin.
I'm Tarsha.
This is Conversations with the Crawleys, and we do conversations about faith, family, relationships, and we do recap some of them live of some of our favorite shows. This one is all about Married at First Sight Nashville. So if this is content that you enjoy, first of all, do us a favor. Hit that subscribe, hit the like, request notification.
And share.
And make sure you're liking right now, because that's really going to help us let people know we're here. Let people know that we're talking live. We want to hear what you got to say. In fact, who's talking right now? Hey, Karen, how's it going?
Hey, Karen.
What's going on, lady? All right. So we wanted to talk about Married at First Sight. We only do a recap. We review it, and we record it. And we posted sometime around 3 o'clock in the morning. Not that late, not that early. But again, we're having some problems with some other things going on with our normal setup. So we're live.
We're live.
We are live and in effect. Isn't that what they used to say?
Live, live and in effect.
Live and in effect. All right. So yeah, this is Married at First Sight. Who do you want to start with?
Just start. Pick a couple.
Yeah, I don't like them couples. All right. Couples irritating me. Let's go with Jasmine and Airris. Jasmine and Airris. Airris and Jasmine. So he got COVID. He's sick.
He's sick. He wanted to find out or not she's going to be ride or die chick.
Because he did say, it was kind of a little foreshadow. He did say in previous, like on the honeymoon or whatever, like, she seems like the type of person that would take care of me when I'm sick, even if we're not together. Well, he tried to have her prove that.
Right. He's like, we got 8 weeks. So let me go ahead and get sick so we can see if you're going to really take care of me. Can you cook? Are you going to nurture me?
You going to rub my forehead and take my temperature?
So, and she has a long work day, as he was saying. So we do see her coming in, making them some hearty vegetable soup. So he seems to be like, okay, she handling it. She taking care of me. I'm laid up on the couch.
She don't hate me that much yet.
Right.
She ain't got that much issues with
so I ain't getting no benefits, but I'm gonna give you soup.
Yeah. She like, maybe you'll get whatever's in you out of you, and maybe we can move forward.
Right.
So they do take the dog to a pet spa, which was pretty cool. They have that in that apartment, which was nice.
Yeah, so he wanted to show how, he wants to be a part of her pet's life and how he would want to take care of the dog. So she's like, okay, let's go. And he's washing like the dog like a car. Like he had the car wash.
Well, first of all, he put a bunch of shampoo on the dog.
Well, you gotta lather the dog up.
Okay.
We understand that.
We get that, but I mean, Brumman was like
all the way down the back.
Like he was putting ketchup on a hot dog. So yeah, they do that, trying to bond over the dog. Then a little later, they have conversations about love, and he's talking about love, or he says that when he was moving towards love, he got hurt. So because he got hurt, he was like, I'm gonna hurt everybody else. I'm not gonna let my guard down. I'm gonna just hit it and quit it every time I can.
Yeah.
Basically, that's what he said.
Basically, I mean,
that's the Kevin translation.
It's the Kevin translation. I want to know, like, who hurt him? Like,
well, he said the one that he felt he was falling in love with. They hurt him. So he was like, I'm going to
like,
become a villain now and just hurt everybody I can.
I don't know his background because we know his mom was there. Was his dad?
Remember, his dad died when he was young.
Okay. So are we scared because of, the loss of a father? Is there abandonment there? Why are we afraid? Because we've seen this in past when other, spouses that are now in these relationships or married first sight, and they've lost someone or there wasn't any bonding, and they take it out by not showing affection or saying they weren't in love. Just like last season. He's like, I never fell in love before, he had mommy issues. So it has to come to something that he's not revealing about his past.
His feelings got hurt. He was upset.
I think it's more.
He didn't know how to deal with it. And so therefore he said,
I'm trying to give you a chance. There's something
I bought you 3 flowers and you didn't like them. You didn't eat the candy I gave you for Valentine's Day. I didn't get the card from you that said, will you be mine? So therefore he's like, I'm just not going to care about any other person anymore. I'm not going to fall in love. That's essentially what he did.
I think there's more to it than that. I know that's
when
what
he tell you he got hurt. When they tell you I got hurt, and I
believe there's more than that, and he doesn't know how to express it or the self-awareness. Okay. Can you tell me how many times you've fallen in love?
Not on this. I mean, I could probably name before you. There were probably 2 that I could say, okay, I loved those people.
Okay. And so I can say about the same, maybe 2, 3 tops.
You trying to one up me.
I'm not trying to one up you.
I had 3.
I said maybe it was 3. Like you said, I would have to think through it. Okay. But for him to say, I've never been in love, ever, and he's almost 40, 39 or something like that in age, then I feel like there has to be more that he's just not sharing.
The man said,
okay, we can move on.
He said,
look, y'all put it
he
in
was
the
getting
comments.
about 29. He started falling in love because he was like, I done sold my wallows. I did my Prince Hakeem thing and coming to America. I was trying to find what I could. And then I got 29. I tried to find my wife and she hurt me. So then for the next 10 years, that's basically what he said.
Okay.
Y'all let us know what you think.
Hey,
let us know. Kevin, Team Carter. Let us know.
I'm just saying, obviously there has to be more than just one person that, because he said I almost fell in love.
I don't think he that deep. He ain't that deep.
Okay.
I'm sorry, bro, man ain't that deep.
Okay.
He
okay.
I'm not that deep.
I'm not debating you. If you want to say he ain't that deep. Maybe he's not going that deep. How about that? Maybe he's not going that deep.
Listen, the kiddie pool will never be deep.
Go ahead. Moving along.
Giving that man more credit.
I'm trying to help him out.
But no.
That's what I'm just saying. I'm trying to help him out. He's asking her, is love scary?
Airris is Swahili for kiddie pool.
He asked her, is love scary? Is love scary? And she was like, yes, love is scary. And she's willing to take that risk, thinking that at some point she's going to find her forever.
Yes.
And so she's sharing that with him. And he's like, it's too scary for me. I can't go in that room. So we'll see how this is, because I don't know, as you're indicating, maybe the maturity's there. And she's just like, okay. And then he feels it's necessary, since they're trying to supposedly communicate and bond, to do, have you ever, never, or
never have I ever.
Never have I ever.
So they start playing Never Have I Ever, right? Put 5 fingers up,
right?
Put them down, right? So it was almost like they were doing a combination of Never Have I Ever
and a drinking game,
and put a finger down if, right? Which I know is a TikTok and Instagram trend, right? So he's like, let's just cut to the sex questions, because I can talk about sex, but you ain't getting none.
Well, and he's like, he keeps saying I'm a sexual person. And I'm just like, okay, but you're not matching up because you're saying that when I hear that, that means you hit everything. You don't care what it looks like, what it smells like.
No, you do care what it smells like.
When you hit everything, if you're just a sexual person, if you're to the place where you could be that person where I just, anybody.
If that's you, then you're a whole other level. Yes, I'll give you that.
Okay.
If yeah.
Okay.
We'll leave it at that.
Okay.
PG for.
Okay, but I'm just saying. So, but with her, you're not feeling anything at all.
Nothing. Nothing's coming to the forefront. Nothing standing at attention.
Nothing. So he thinks this is the topic and how he decides he's going to share
the gap, right?
He's going to bridge the gap. I don't know.
Because one of the questions he asked her was, "Never have I ever kissed someone of the opposite sex?" She's like, "No, I haven't done that." He's like, "Really? So let me ask him."
Right. I would have asked him.
Have you ever kissed someone of the same sex?
Correct. Because I would want to know. Because she's like, "Oh, you never lived." I was like, "Hold on. Hold on, bro. I mean, I never lived."
You're making sense.
Not making sense at all.
At all.
And so she asked him, "Have you ever had a threesome?" And he was like,
"Well, not really. It was an orgy."
I'm like, "Come on, bro."
Okay, so it was a force to attend some, I don't know, whatever it might have been.
Right. And she's like, "Okay." And again, she's like, "This ain't getting me anywhere. I'm not feeling more emotionally connected to you."
She's like, "This ain't turning me on at all.
It ain't doing anything."
This ain't.
Because I was at one point, I was asking you, I was like, "Do you think he's trying to make her not fall in love with him?"
It's possible.
That he's just like, "Let me make sure I'm just turning her completely off and just say the most random, outrageous thing I can think of."
Yeah.
Because I'll be like, "Dude, I need you tested. I need you to go get tested." Like,
especially since you just had sex 2 weeks ago.
Right. I'll be like, "I just want you to make sure." Yeah. So she wasn't really excited after. She was like, "Okay." Now, in the after party, she was like, "Well, I'm glad he was able to share that information." Right. And she's like, she wasn't really judging him, is what she got at. She's like, "I'm not judging him. That was what he did. He's almost 40.
Before they got married?
Before they got married. So, okay. But again, but she wasn't saying like, "Oh, I feel more connected to him."
And she wasn't impressed by it.
No.
So it was almost as if he was trying to, like you said, either push her away or impress her.
Right.
Or see what her boundaries were.
Right.
And it's like, okay, that's not the way you find that out.
Correct.
So again, that's why I say he's not that deep. To me, he operates off of a lot of bravado and the bragging of sexual escapades that he's not willing to really offer to his wife, if you will.
Correct.
Right? Correct. So to me, and he has these things that he does as far as his executive decisions, but it's like, there's no layers to him, in my opinion.
I don't see them lasting.
Oh no,
I don't see her saying yes on a decision day.
I would question Jasmine if she did stay. Because unless within these next, they have 4.5 weeks,
4.5 weeks,
unless there is like a complete 180 and he goes from a 4 to 192 in the next 4 weeks, they're not staying, and Jasmine has no reason or gets no value out of staying with them.
No, not at all.
Sorry. Let us know what y'all think. Let us know if we're off base. I'm sorry. Airris is. Yeah.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. And in his case, it ain't what it ain't. All right. So, sorry. Airris, if you're watching, hey, sorry. All right. Gina and Clint. So
they're getting some stars out of me. I think they're going the right direction. I think, again, he's still making more effort.
He is.
Than her.
He is. Yes.
Because he's talking to his mother. He's like, "Okay, talk about me being woman and being in business and starting a business. What does that look like? Because again, it's not a part of his life. He's never had to start a business. He's been, as they're playing him up like a free spirit or whatever.
But he works, he's a consultant.
Right, he's a consultant, but he works for somebody else, right? And so mom was sharing like, hey, there's a hustle at the beginning. And I was all in, I was all focused, but at some point you do want to, you know, allow others to help you with other things, and you have a work-life balance.
Yep.
And so he seems to be getting good advice. He's going down to the slum, which in their building where they live would have been like right downstairs.
He was taking out the trash, and he's like, let me go down to my wife's salon.
So, and again, he's interacting, you know, with her staff and everything, making them comfortable. So I want to give Clint a win, you know.
Yes, I'll give him credit for where they are and everything right now. By the way, if you're watching and you haven't already hit that like button, that's going to help other folks know that we're here having this conversation. We want to hear your thoughts, so put them in the chat. We definitely want to hear what you guys got to say about the couple we're discussing, and let us know your thoughts. We want to hear it. We're going to comment on it. We're going to give our opinions, our 2 cents, and we'll go from there. But yeah, so I give Clint more credit because, yes, Clint has made mistakes, but Clint is doing the right things right now as it relates to him trying to move forward with Gina. They do have some questions as far as connecting from the experts boxes this week, as you've seen in previous Married at First Sight. They get boxes from the experts that are designed to have them questions, get a little deeper, what have you. So start asking questions and dealing with questions as far as love, as far as where they see themselves, what have you.
Yes.
And Clint does talk about how he had gotten a woman pregnant, but then she had a miscarriage.
Yeah, and how he took it so hard that, you know, he had hives or something, or a rash related to it, because he was looking forward to being a dad. You know, so I mean, that's a very vulnerable spot. And that's just something you typically wouldn't just share with a stranger, right? But I think he's really trying to open up and saying, look, I'm committed enough to share these things with you, because at some point it was something you will want to share with your partner, you know. And I think, as she even alluded to in the after party, was that it kind of got her like, oh, wow, because she didn't have a dad in her life. And she was saying for him to feel like so connected in the situation of the birth and then losing the baby, that she could see him, you know, doing the same thing. Being a father. So I think that went well.
They did go on one of his boats, or a boat, I should say, sailing.
And he wanted to kind of like, you know, test the waters to see how well she would like it. Again, that's a part of his life. He talks about 8 generations of sailors in his family.
I just got a question.
So,
what kind of boat is his family sailing?
We ain't going there. Not going there. So, anywho, you know, they're out there on the water. They're connecting. Trying to make memories, I call it, making memories. So after that, we got a rodeo they went to?
Yeah, they went to a bull riding event.
Yeah, so I mean, they're doing events. They're trying to just
they're
relax,
spending time together. They're
not making it intense.
So yeah, I give them, they're making progress. Clint is making more progress, at least putting forth more effort. Gina is not putting forth as much effort, but she's not actively working against the relationship. Let's say it that way. So this week I'm gonna say that
I'm giving them B+.
I'm gonna give them a C+.
Ooh, boy, that's still a little low.
Well, this whole season is low, really.
It is, but I mean, B. And more of him driving the grade.
Okay, I can give you that. Right. So if we're talking about a group project, they get a B because he did the work. Y'all ever in school, you had a group project and you know the other person didn't pull their weight?
But they have to be on your team.
They gotta be on the team. Like the professor assigned them to your team, and he was trying to hide, and that's how Clint is with Gina right now. He's like, oh, she on my team. I gotta pull weight, but
pull weight.
All right. Nicole and Chris.
Okay.
They go to a couples massage.
I love couples massage.
Yes.
I love massages.
Yes.
I love a good massage.
Yes.
I thought
Whenever
that was
we go on trips.
If I can get a massage in, I will. Which is nice, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he discovers that she really originally didn't like PDA. She said no before. I didn't want to touch me, but it's you that is making the difference. That I would touch. He's saying she was touchy. I don't know. She had a very toxic past relationship, so maybe she was scared if the other person touched her.
Again,
but
y'all let me know.
Saying,
I don't necessarily believe Nicole on a lot of things that she says.
I'm only going by what the woman says. So that's what she says. And so Chris was like, oh, okay. All right, if you say so, you know. But they do talk a little bit about their connection and how well they feel like they're getting along. And like, okay, you're getting along.
They have a discussion of saying the I love you word because they're at the absinthe bar, I think. Talking about, when would you say I love you? How would that work? What would you feel like? And she says in like the interview with the producers, she says, she wants him to say it first. This is why I don't necessarily believe a lot of things that Nicole says, because I think that Nicole is really just saying things. Now, do I think that she is smitten? Yes, I think so. But I think she is not, she's sending her representative as far as saying what's really on her heart and on her mind. This is why she keeps asking, do you love me? Do you love me? If tomorrow is graduation day, if tomorrow is decision day, would you stay with me? So these are the reasons that she's doing that, because I don't think she is authentic. If she feels the way she feels, say you feel that way. Say it with your chest.
I think there's a lot of things in her past going on as well.
Okay.
So
you like everybody having their
past.
Everybody got a past.
Everybody got past trauma. I mean, and it does play a role in current relationships.
Okay, Tarsha.
I'm just saying.
Okay, Tarsha.
So for her, I'm just like, I hear you, but if you love them, yes. Now, is it hard to say I love you and not hearing it back? Yes, it could be very hard.
Right.
And that's probably what it is. She has a fear of rejection.
Yeah. And let me correct it. It was actually him that said it to the camera that he thinks Nicole wants him to say it first.
Okay.
That's right.
And so
it pays to have notes.
So she's afraid of rejection, right? And so she don't want to say it. But she is kind of like, hey, don't you want to say it? How's it going to be when you say it?
She's fishing for compliments. She's fishing for his love. She's fishing for his approval. All right. So he cuts his own hair, which we're proud to you.
If you can do it, do it.
If you can do it, do it.
Save some money.
Yeah. I mean, now when I was bald, I shaved my head.
Right. I mean,
I don't have the skills to shave my own head. So shout out to Rick, my barber.
Well, he comes out because he does say, I want to look good for my wife. I don't want my hair to grow too long if she don't care for it. Right. So from that moment, they go to the couch and they're talking.
And he does reveal that he's had some issues with his body type and insecurities, right?
Right.
So, hey, Elena, welcome to the live. So Chris talks about how he had some body issues, what have you. And he's like, it was kind of like a segue. He was like,
right,
let me just go ahead and sneak this in.
He's like, I'm gonna open the door for this.
Let me talk about how I had some body issues. And by the way, I sent some to the producers, and because we made it this far, we outlasted Dominique and McKinley. We know you're gonna see it, so I'm gonna say it now. That way, by the time this actually airs, you can kind of get over it. He basically is like, if you go back to the statement from when they were shortly after they got married, he was like, she's cool. She's just a little thicker than I thought, or a little thicker than what I normally date.
Right.
So he lets her know that.
Here we go. Here we go with these big statements. We almost lost Clint. Him and Gina was going to be I feel like I thought about Martin. Him and Gina was almost over. Gina. Start thinking about Martin and Gina. So it almost been over. And
Martin is a show that I will watch every time it's on.
And so I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, here we go. And she was the first one to speak up to Gina's defense when it comes to making these body comments or body shaming. So she looking at him and she's like, okay. And now I may say thick, but thick should never come out of your mouth. And I'm like, okay. Can we really talk about this?
Yes.
Because
part of it, I think, is one, I think it's and I don't want to say this as let me just say it, and if I need to clean it up, y'all let me know.
That's what the problem is. When men trying to clean up with stuff they can say.
But I think in Nicole's case,
I'm
not saying this for every woman.
Okay.
In Nicole's case, I think it is partly driven by her own insecurity.
Okay.
And the reason I say that is because there are some women that don't mind being called thick.
Right.
Or what's the other phrase? Slim, thick, whatever it may be. Right. So
is that cultural?
That's the other thing. Is it cultural? Y'all let us know in the comments what your thoughts are. I think it is partly cultural. But I think also it is jarring for Nicole based upon her insecurities. And that's why, yes, she ran to the defense of Gina. But then also when it found itself in her house, she was like, I can say it, but you can't say it. So that's why, let me know what you think. What are your thoughts?
Okay. He has always been reaffirming to her
absolutely
about how she looked and
that he's attracted to her.
Yep. We already know they consummated their marriage, right?
Yep.
So there's nothing that's him portraying physically that he doesn't want her.
Right.
So if he says, yeah, she's a little bit thicker than what I would normally date, I wouldn't put a lot of weight on it because he's showing me that he loves me. We're intimate.
And it's not something he can't get past. Unlike Airris is like, I want to date Serena Williams. I want to date Megan Thee Stallion.
Which would be considered thick.
Right. And so therefore, he's saying that that's what he wants to date. And he can't get past it in the case of Airris and Jasmine.
Correct. So then if he would have said it, then obviously, okay, you might want to put a little bit more weight behind it, right? Because
the actions and the words are what is causing the problem, in my opinion.
Correct.
For Chris, his actions don't cause as much of an issue for me because his words don't cause as much of an issue for me because his actions are telling me that he's still connecting with her. Correct. He still has attraction to her. He cares about her. He's growing. And the fact that he's bringing it up and it didn't come up in the middle of a meeting with all the other couples. It didn't come up in a way that could embarrass her or what have you. He's bringing up the conversation. Well, yeah, he brought it up for the cameras, but
he did bring
that could have also been producers, right?
Or they're asking him,
right?
And again, could he said it different? Like,
oh yeah,
typically the girls on date are a lot slimmer. I mean, there's always different words.
That would have been a problem too.
I know. But I think it just kind of opens people's eyes and maybe even open his eyes. Because even if he would have said afterwards, now, if things don't work out between me and her, I know that I have more options. Mm-hmm. I shouldn't be looking at people because they look like this, I want to approach them.
Right.
I think, like she says, those are things she's working to overcome.
Yep.
Because for her, she has centered around, as she said it, looking at women on social media. Mm-hmm. She mentions where she's from and where she feels like, fitness and the way a woman looks.
And having body dysmorphia.
Correct.
Right. So that's why I say that it was made it was taken to another level, not because of Chris or his actions, but partly because it was Nicole and the things that she deals with.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay.
So,
you know, it's better to get it out now than her, you know, going over the videos and going.
And Kevin on the reunion, especially being like, how'd you feel? Right?
Right.
So,
like,
at least they got it out now.
Hey, he's a man.
Yeah. Let's deal with, we ain't got too many more couples.
No,
actually,
we don't.
That's the yeah, because the only other couple is Kirsten and Shaq.
Yep.
So,
that's it.
She is talking on the phone with her friend, doing FaceTime and talking about moving in together and all that stuff. And her friend's like, "Oh my God, you're blushing." So it's
I'm so confused.
Yeah, Kirsten, you confusing us, girl. You're confusing us.
It's very confusing, right? So her friends notice a good difference,
right,
about her, how she's responding about being married and everything. And her friend is talking about, okay, so are you getting more connected? Has that led to you opening up? And she's just talking about, you know, Shaq has a lot of late hours. I don't know if it's the beginning of the next semester, whatever. Like he has.
It sounds like he's doing a lot of meeting with students, kind of getting them scheduled and
them
with his
settled.
mentees and all that.
Right. And so she's like, girl, I tried to wait up for him and I was asleep. I was like, I understand. You try to wait up for your spouse and you're like, you're never coming home.
Well, here's what you do, because this is, we had to do this when we first got married, because remember, I was working at the restaurant and I was working late hours. So you would sometimes take a nap and that way you'd be up when I came home. So
yeah, I've done that, you know, or you've called me multiple times while you're at work. So
why are you saying like that? You call me multiple times
because I'm just not used to it.
It was when we first got married. I was trying to make that connection. I appreciate I was preparing for the conversations that we would have and Married at First Sight world. So
now when you call it every 15 minutes.
Well, I was bored at work too.
Exactly. So like I didn't have stuff to do. But anywho.
Flipping burgers and passing out fries. I thank you for the increase.
So, you know, so she's trying to tell her, like, but her friend's like, look, y'all need to make time. Make sure you're making time to connect, especially if that's what you're going to need to grow an emotional connection to him. And she's like, yeah, we need to do that, you know, and figure that out, because you're two single people coming together, right? And sometimes if you've already set schedules based on how you live when you were by yourself, then it's hard to change. And then maybe you're not communicating well, like, oh, I have this, or I got this plan, whatever. So, but they end up with, I think the only thing they had, so they had to get together with the mentees, right? Right. Is what occurred.
Well, because they did have the questions with that came out the box.
Okay, so they did the questions.
And she asked, or one of them asked, how did you know that you were in love, right? And he talks about how he felt with that person, what he was feeling. And she says she's also been in love before, right? But she also said that she had her guard up with her ex as well. Okay. So we hear this thing, and again, the consistent thing out of Kirsten is that she keeps saying she needs to let her guard down. She needs to be more open. She needs to, you know, be more intentional. So the mentees do come by.
Yeah.
They visit, right? It's college guys, right?
Right. And so they're like, wow.
They're like, look, we're just worried, were you going to be ugly or what? And then one of them was like, your hair, who does your hair? I didn't get that. But okay.
I don't know if he was trying to be funny or
he
what.
might have been, but it was like, okay.
You know, so she's meeting people that are important to him.
Yeah.
And, you know, and she's connecting and talking and everything. And, you know, young men have questions like, okay, here's my mentor now getting married and trying to understand how it is getting married from being single, you know. And so question comes up from one of the mentees, what is the, you know, biggest sacrifice you could have made since you've gotten married?
Like I turned down a job that was going to take me out of Nashville.
And she's looking at him like, you did what?
You did what?
With who? And when did this happen?
Now, bear in mind, they've only been married technically for 2 weeks.
Right.
Well, 3 weeks now, right?
Right.
I think it's 3 weeks. So the question is, when did the job offer come in?
Mm-hmm.
Was it right before he was getting married?
Right.
And then, okay, that makes sense. He could say, I'm gonna turn down because I'm more interested in this opportunity
this process
and do that. But if it was afterwards, he could have at least said, hey, this is what I'm feeling, or this is what I'm being offered.
Right.
This is an opportunity that I was looking into before we got married.
Right.
What are your thoughts? Because if we're going to build something together, job opportunities are going to come up, right? Especially when you work in higher education, if you're working in the levels that it sounds like he's working in and pursuing the things that it sounds like he's pursuing,
professor,
it's possible that, yes, opportunities can open up in other parts of the country that would require them to move.
Mm-hmm.
So at least having the conversation would have been a little more advantageous, right?
Yeah, because this is a big decision. Now, say if there's something he really wanted, you're not going to make me, you end up being resentful over something you decided without me, but then it's my fault.
Right.
I'm like, so she's looking at him like, I was going to say I took the trash out for him. Like, like.
Like, I washed the dishes. I did.
Right. That was my sacrifice.
I made the bed. That was my sacrifice.
Right.
I actually let him see my actual apartment and not the
gosh.
fake apartment that I took y'all to a few weeks ago.
So
that was her sacrifice.
So yeah, they go on, and then the next scene we see she's trying to do like a home spa day.
Well, before that, they go plant shopping.
Oh God, yeah. How can I forget the plant shopping?
So one of the things I think we saw, kind of didn't really see, when they kind of blurred past Shaq's apartment, because we didn't actually get to see his apartment.
That's true.
We did see flowers. We saw lots of pictures and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
So he does talk about how he likes to have plants. He likes to watch them grow.
Right.
That's kind
They're
of
a metaphor of his life,
right,
and growth.
So
yeah,
cool. So they go to the nursery, but he gets a little ridiculous with them plants.
I mean, first, it's like he did a thesis on it. That was the first thing. Because at first I thought she was getting really bored, but she was like, oh, he's opening up and he's sharing a part of his life with me. Mm-hmm. So she's looking at it in a positive way.
Yes.
And they're trying to decide on a plant together for their current apartment. But that's a lot. I want she picked something out, no. Mm-mm.
Yeah, because he was being a little passive aggressive with some of it.
Yes.
He's like, is that what you want? Is that the one you really want? But it's got different colors. This is the one I want.
Well, because she was doing solid, but she's like, it has to have different colors. Right. I mean, it was like all these requirements for this plant.
Basically, he was trying to direct her to the plants that he wanted. Basically, that's what he was doing. She was like, that scares me. Okay, fine. I'm not going to go with something that scares you, but okay, let's go over here. Let's go over here. He was directing her and really just like forcing her to pick the plants that he wanted. It was a little much.
We're at Home Depot. Okay, this is Lowe's. You are not a botanica.
And plus, here in Arizona, we got cactus or cactus.
Blossoming cactus.
Blossoming cactus. We got cacti. All right, so
what was it? Aloe vera.
I was about to say aloe vera, but aloe vera comes out of the cactus, right?
No, it doesn't come out of the cactus. It comes out in big green leaves.
Okay.
So.
And that is horticultural lesson for today.
But so I was just like, okay. But they finally figured out, and he has to name them. So they have names.
Yeah, because I guess in this nursery, all the plants have a name.
Yes.
On the tag, and he's like, we can't change the name. The plant ain't gonna know. Just like if you call your dog, if you get a new dog and the dog's name was Sparky, and you don't like the name Sparky, you change it to Bubba. Bubba gonna eventually start coming to you and give him enough food. So Stella the plant is gonna grow when you give it water and plant food. It's gonna grow.
Oh my gosh.
So then they do have she tries to do a spa day in the house.
Right.
Because I guess Chris and Nicole took the massage appointment. They took the budget for that.
So now they got to do the pedicure
at home,
right now.
The foot bath at home. with the robes they stole from the hotel in Jamaica.
Oh my gosh.
So she's setting the mood.
Yeah, she got some wine going. We got candles because he's
roses.
coming in.
Yep.
She's like, hey. He's like, hey, what's all this? And she's like, go change. So he comes out in his t-shirt and shorts and a robe, and putting his feet in the water. She got the little mask, sleeping mask, whatever, and they're putting on. And it's like, okay, I'm gonna make you vulnerable, but I'm not gonna be vulnerable.
Yeah.
And asking, questions. What was her question?
Her question was basically he started talking about his insecurities. How he even was insecure about going bald at 20 in his 20s. So he's opening up to her and saying, these are the areas that I was insecure in, these are the things that I've struggled with, what have you. And so he's like, all right, what about you? Oh,
it's a lot of things.
It's a lot of things. Okay, cool. Give me one.
And then, okay, I think if he was just possibly, I'm giving you like 2 to 10%.
Okay.
Because she starts to go in to say something like it's going to be, she's going to about to say more and expand.
Okay.
About sharing or having a hard time sharing. He's like, I already know that. And he kind of cuts her off. So
because she was answering the question by not answering the question. She basically was like, well, it's hard for me to open up. I know that. Tell me something I don't know.
But it felt like it was like, I'm gonna try to warm up to something. I'm giving her like 2 to 10% that she might have added to that.
Giving her credit.
She might have added to that just a little bit more. But again, I'm putting on my psychologist hat.
You do that.
Putting it on like, okay, so what in your life?
Which university did it come from, though? That's the question.
University of Life.
Oh, okay.
Because there has been where it has been researched that if you've been a child where every time you try to speak up,
yes,
there's been some type of retribution for you speaking out or speaking your mind and stuff like that, that people tend to clam up and close up. They have a wall up.
Right.
And so maybe, because she said, well, I need people to approach me different ways. Because she said that.
She did.
She mentioned that I need people to approach me different ways. So maybe it's him changing the questions. Like, I know he kept saying at the end, why are your walls up? How do you get these walls? And she probably can't even answer that question.
Listen, he need Joshua marching down them walls for them jokers to come down. Joshua fit the bell of Jericho.
So I'm thinking, okay, what question can he ask? Like, okay, when's the last time you remember, as a child, you sharing something that
I
happened?
Hear that.
I know he wouldn't have those skills.
Well, I think that the onus is on her. If she's saying, I need to be approached differently, then tell me how you need to be approached. Because I'm approaching with the way I know to approach. And if you're not open up off of that, and I don't know or what, I'm because he's not coming aggressive.
No,
he's not coming like in a way that in my opinion would cause harm.
No.
But for whatever reason, the way that he's asking her questions, well, really the way anyone's asking her questions, because even when
she said in the previous relationship,
well, when Keisha on the after party starts asking questions, she starts tearing up and having some emotions, right?
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily the way he's asking, it's the way anybody asks questions, which means that there's something else that's there that she has had to deal with, or at least be vulnerable enough with the person who's saying, I want to get to know you better in a safe place, and I provide a safe place for you to share, but you got to open up, because I think Shaq's starting to check out.
Well, and in the after party, you see her says, I got to be this role model. I got to be this, almost saying like this perfect person. And Keisha's like, girl, you don't have to be perfect. I know you're on TV. I know you want to feel like you want to be portrayed a certain way, and you're trying to watch everything you say. But I'm sorry, it doesn't work that way.
Right.
You need to open up to your husband. But at the same time, it's like she can't, for whatever reason, find this balance in herself.
Right.
And so sometimes people don't know how to ask for help when they're hurting because they just know this, or they'll say, well, that's just the way I am. Well, no, somehow you got here, but there's ways to come out. But it's learning those things, because if you were like that in a past relationship, and that means you're the person that has whatever this issue is that you can't get beyond. Right. Where even, you know, just someone, a host saying, okay, well, why do you feel like you can't share? And you start to share, and it's emotional for you to feel like being vulnerable is not a good or safe place.
Right. Because it's not that every relationship was her fault. Is that what we're saying?
I'm not trying to say that.
There could be things that were triggered. But if you constantly, but if you are saying in your previous relationship, you had your guard up, in this relationship, you have your guard up, then again, this is, you chose to be married at first sight.
Right.
So married at first sight is not a show. It's not a situation you come on with your guard up.
Well, when you go on married at first sight, you only think, oh, I want to get married. They don't look at it like, oh, this means I'm going to be self-exploring, and then all of my faults and my shortcomings are going to come out. So
then is the issue with the perception of what marriage is.
Yeah, Einstein. That's it. Oh. I mean,
I know you weren't thinking that way.
No, I'm not saying that way, but yeah, we all felt like that. I got married, and I had a certain perception of what marriage was.
I messed your perception.
Messed it all up. Messed it all up. Right? Because then I had to learn about myself, about being selfish and wanting my way, wanting things done my way, and having to learn to give into that this is not my show. It's the Crawleys.
Yep.
It's the Crawleys show. It's not my show.
So yeah, so I have hope for Kirsten and Shaq. And I think, you know, because initially it was she couldn't get over the fact that he had a bald head, right? But I think that she's feeling him is what I get the sense of.
Yes.
But
she's getting in her own way.
She's getting in her own way, which is causing Shaq to be pushed away or pull away, right? A combination of both, because he's feeling pushed away, which is causing him to pull away even more. So where they are,
that's a hard one. I mean, you almost want to give them 50-50, right? Yeah. Unless she just all of a sudden
she has got to open up
and get vulnerable, you know, start blubbering like,
even if it's not on camera, right?
Right.
If she's concerned about being picked up on camera, look,
turn it off.
They can't be with y'all every day, right?
Not 24/7.
So here's what you do. Let me give y'all, if you're going to go married at first sight, because I think they're looking at Chicago next, which should be interesting. Okay. Just make sure y'all stay off the west side. Don't be pulling anybody from that west side. That's going to be a mini.
No, they was something for the west side. That's going to keep them viewers on.
That's where they go find Airris Part 2, 3, and 4 on the west side of Chicago. If you're from Chicago, you know what I'm talking about.
You lost 5 viewers off
South side. All right. So, but if you're going to go on married at first sight, right? You got to make sure that, one, yes, you are being vulnerable, but you gotta,
you were going about, you know, if they want to say something off camera.
Yeah.
So do it in the living room when the cameras are not there, but they got the camera.
The cameras, right. So this is what y'all do. This is what you do.
The camera or whatever.
You go to work, but then you call off from work. Y'all meet up at a restaurant, someplace, meet up at a library, get you a study room. Have the conversation that y'all need to have away from cameras, because I recognize that the cameras are
it's intrusive.
It's intrusive, right?
Yeah.
And you don't want to share everything, but if you're going to build something, you got to also start preparing for life after the cameras.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, or again,
we did actually lose some viewers because I said west side. Sorry.
Shame on yourself.
But if you're from Chicago. Oh, you've been to Chicago.
I love Chicago. I love every part I've ever been to Chicago.
And there's some parts I didn't take you to. West side.
You need to stop.
All right. We love our West Side people. The ones I'm related to. Which ain't that many now. All right.
Put your hands towards him. So I think that's it.
That's
so
all the couples.
Yeah,
we didn't see Dominic and McKinley.
No, they're getting divorced. So we'll see as the other couples. You know, we saw some scenes from next week, and we'll see how things go because people are becoming frustrated with the partner that were chosen for them.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Here's this is what I've been seeing, kind of rumored and speculated on George Bush's internet. Is that we might see later on. I think we already saw the clip and talked about the clip of McKinley and or Dominique and Clint. But there's also talk that McKinley will slide into the DMs of Gina.
What?
We'll see. Well, because remember, McKinley was like, I don't see no problem with Gina. He told that. He was like,
yeah, I heard.
I ain't got no type, but Gina my type.
I heard that, but
so we'll see.
Okay.
Let us know your thoughts. Y'all been pretty quiet on this live. Shout out to the commenters in there. Definitely would like to see your comments later on. If you put them in there, this will be up. Definitely make sure you subscribe because we're going to be doing. I know we have Radio Love coming up next couple of days. We'll get back on track with Love and Marriage DC.
Oh yeah.
Let us know what y'all think about Love and Marriage DC if you're watching. Let us know your thoughts on it.
Yeah.
I don't think that Joy and Clifford are going to stay on that past this season. No, and then I think that's it right now. Put a Ring on It's coming back.
Yep. If you watch Put a Ring on It,
make sure you're watching that too. All right.
Oh, right? Or
yes.
live?
On O.
Okay.
On O. All right. That's it for this time. See y'all next time. Have a great one. Be blessed.
Bye.